Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, let's see what metadata in Salesforce is and how we can retrieve the metadata from Salesforce Org in VS Code so that we can develop our code based on that. Alright, so why do we need to retrieve metadata in the first place? So consider a situation where you are assigned to a project and want to view existing Apex classes and LWC code so that you can do some code modifications. You have access to the org. Now, as discussed in the previous videos, the Salesforce runs its code in the Salesforce org, which is basically a server. Now, if you want to fetch a piece of code from the server to your local system, we need some kind of setup for that. So in this video, let's try to find out what are those. And before moving on, let's see what metadata is. So metadata is nothing but the data that describes other data. For example, if you create a new custom object called a student and you create a student record named Sam. In this case, the record that you have created named Sam is the actual business data. But what about the metadata? In this case, the object schema or the definition of that object called student is the metadata for Sam record. There are multiple ways of retrieving the metadata from Salesforce Org to your VS Code. We can use something called manifest project, which basically creates a manifest file, Package.xml file, where you can configure what all metadata do you want to retrieve from your Salesforce org. Now, the other way of doing the same thing is installing a Salesforce extension, which will provide you an UI using which you can select all the metadata and you don't have to write it in the XML file. It will create the XML file for you. And the third option is going to be the org browser, but there is a limitation with this that you only can use this with non-source tracked organizations. So let's move on to the demo. First of all, you need to create a project, and that too with manifest. We need to select this one, SFDX create project with manifest. Select the standard template, enter some name like Retrieve Metadata project and hit enter. Now you can just save it anywhere you want. I'm saving it, let's save it over here. Yeah, the Salesforce project, and create a project. As you can see, the project has been created and the folders as well as the inner folders has been created. All the files have been created. Now this is basically a template for you to create the project. Let the activation of the extensions proceed. So in this folder structure, you can see there is a manifest folder created as well, which was not in the previous project that we created. If you just go here and search for the manifest, you won't be able to see it over here. See, there is no manifest folder inside the config folder. So here we have the manifest and here we don't. So in the manifest folder, you can see there is a package.xml file. If you click on this, you would be able to see that there are different type tags and has different members like Apex classes, Apex component, Apex page, test suite, Apex trigger, lightning component bundle. All of these things are there. Now let's authorize the org. Let's go to no default org set over here in the left bottom corner. Let's click on it and hit authorize an org. This is the same process that we followed in the last video. If you have not watched that video, I'll leave the link in the description down below. Please check that out. If you go back and see what happened here is the command ran successfully. So now we have the org set as well. Now we already have the Apex class here. So let's move on and see the first method, that is using the manifest project. So in the manifest project that we have created, we have something called the manifest folder wherein we have the package.xml. So if I go back to my org and see what Apex classes has been created in this org, you will be able to see these. There are 3 Apex classes. Let's try to get this one into this VS Code, and for that we'll not import everything, just delete everything else for now. Should only keep things that we really need here. So let's get rid of all of these, and in the members let's type the name say hi. So now I only want to fetch one Apex class that is named say hi. Now all you have to do is go to the package.xml file, right click on it, and click on retrieve source in manifest from org. And retrieve source ran successfully. Now if you go to force-app and go to classes, now you would be able to see the say hi class over here. Obviously it does not contain any logic as of now, it was just created for the sake of this demo. Now the second method is to install an extension, which is Salesforce extension for Package.xml generator. Now what this extension will do is basically create the package.xml as you select on the UI of it. So like it's going to provide you with an UI and you can select whatever components you want. Say for example, if you want the lightning web component, if you want the Apex triggers, if you want the classes, and in the classes as well, what are the name of the classes that you want to retrieve, you can select it via the user interface of this extension. So let's go ahead and install it. And the installation is pretty simple. You just have to click on install, and once it's finished installing, we can just move on and launch this extension. Alright, so the installation is finished now. Let's move on and use this extension to fetch some metadata from our Salesforce org that we have just connected with this VS code. So for that, what you have to do is just go to the Package.xml and click Ctrl+Shift+P. Yeah, here it is. So now you get this very beautiful UI well put together. You can just select whatever metadata that you want to fetch. So let's go to the Apex classes and see what all Apex classes we have. So say hi is already here, and it has also fetched the other Apex classes that we have in our org. So let's try to fetch the hello world this time. And along with this, let's also try to get one trigger. As soon as you select the trigger, it will fetch the records, all the triggers that are there. And there is one which is called the account trigger. So since there is only one trigger, so it is automatically selected over here. So yeah. Now we just click on update package.xml, and now you can see Apex trigger. We had deleted this part if you remember, so it is again regenerated by that extension. And we also have Apex class members say hi and hello world. So let's go ahead and retrieve these as well. Before retrieving, I would like to show you that there is only one Apex class as of now. This is the Apex class. Lightning Web component we have none, and triggers we don't have any triggers. So now let's retrieve the source in manifest from org, and yeah, let's wait for it to finish. And it is successfully ran, and we can check that trigger is also updated over here. We can see that we have another class hello world which was not earlier in this folder, so it is retrieved successfully. And let's check the LWC, and we have no LWC over here because LWC we did not include over here. Okay, no problem. So we have another way of doing that, which is using the org browser. For that, all you have to do is on the left side of this navigation pane, you just click on org browser, and let's try to retrieve the LWC component using org browser. And now it has loaded all the metadata that are available in the SFDC org that we have just connected with this Visual Studio. We have another Apex class which is not yet in sync, so let's select this. And if you see, there is something called an icon which is a cloud download, so just click on this. And if you just click on this cloud symbol, it will just download the code, the metadata into your Visual Studio Code. And if you click on the icon on the left of that icon, it will not only download, but it will also open that source. So let's click on this. And now you can see the Apex class example.cls file is now loaded here. Let's try to do this with another metadata, some Lightning Web components. See. So in the Lightning Web component, we have two components. Let's try to get this LW component. Let's download it. And now if you go back to the LWC, you should be able to see that this Lightning Web component has been retrieved from the org. So that is it for today's video, guys. Do let me know in case you find any difficulties, or did you like the video or not. Consider sharing this video to your friends and do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching my video and see you in the next video.